Welcome back, everybody, to part 4 of the For Real Movie Club for the month of June, episode 15. We talked Terminator 1, Terminator 2, Terminator 3. Now we're going to just abandon the idea of something being Terminator 4 because they went, nah, I think I want to name it Terminator Salvation. Don't like the title. What do you guys think about that?
Nah, because there was no salvation.
No, far from it.
Yeah. Nothing really got saved other than Kyle.
Maybe it was like a salvation because Terminator 3 was finally over.
Trying to save the franchise.
Yeah, maybe it's like, oh.
Hey, I'll give it this. It's better than T3.
Mm-hmm. It's significantly better.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still not even like a great movie or anything like that. It's just Terminator 3 is that bad.
Yeah.
No, I only recommend it for like the quality of special effects.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a decent movie to look at. That's about it.
Yeah. Sutton Worthington is really decent to look at. Like, hey.
Oh, on our side of things, we got Moon Bloodgood.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Which, alright, one of the things that we definitely have to talk about with this movie, we mentioned it a lot in Terminator 3, where we were saying how the first two films, James Cameron is somebody who likes strong women. You know, the Alien franchise has Ripley.
Yes.
Terminator's got Sarah Connor, except for in Terminator 3. Terminator Salvation, when they were making this, they specifically were like, you know what, we should have a strong woman in here. And it's not Bryce Dallas Howard who's playing Kate Brewster, because she's the motherly kind of character, which makes sense, okay, you know. But Moon Bloodgood is Blair Williams, and she is actually somebody who can fight, and she can kick ass, and whatever. Yeah. And that was a huge plus when I was watching this movie, because a little bit of it's lost in translation with me since I am a guy. A lot of times if a movie will come out and people will be like, well, the women weren't strong in it. And I'll be like, I didn't even think about it. Like, because a lot of the times I don't think about any of that stuff. Like, and it comes from race too. I mean, a lot of people, they group it together. People complained about Heimdall being black in Thor. And I was like, you know what? I didn't even think about it until you said it. And people will complain and they'll say, you know, there's only damsels in distress in this movie, or there's that, what is it, the Bechdel test or something? That, to determine whether or not a film is sexist, you have to take, that there has to be at least 2 female characters that are in a scene by themselves without any men, and they have to be talking about something that isn't, like, talking about the men. I forget exactly how it goes.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
It's this whole, like, you know, how to judge if something is feminist or not or whatever, but like this movie doesn't have that really. I mean, it does to an extent, like Blair and Kate talk in one scene, you know, that kind of stuff, but just the fact that Terminator 3 was so piss poor about it, they needed to make sure that they made a conscious effort to do it in this one. To just prove that like the franchise that's not lost on them, you know.
Right.
Kate is the motherly one. She's the one that's the badass and stuff. What do you guys think about Blair? Is that somebody who she lives up to the idea of Sarah Connor, or was she just kind of a, you know, filler replacement?
Yeah, I think she was. Oh, sorry, Sam. Go ahead.
Sorry. It's simple. To me, it was filler replacement, and that's all it was. How about you?
I agree. I think that she wasn't deep enough to measure up to Sarah, because we understood why she had the facade of being strong, and why did she get like what happened to her for her to get that strong. I mean, I didn't hate Blair.
Well, I think the world ended.
Oh.
She has no mirrors to check herself out in, like in Terminator 3, so she was like, I guess what else should I do? Fight people.
You know. She wasn't bad. Like, she didn't take me out of anything, but she's not a character that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go home and burn some bras for you. Like, no.
It's funny you mention that though, because as sexist as Terminator 3 is, they filmed a nude scene in Terminator Salvation with Blair. There's a scene where she's with Marcus, and it's raining out, and she changes her clothes, and she takes her top off, and, you know, holds over her breast because she's like trying to block them, and then that's it. And they eventually cut it out, and they realized, and I commend them for it, it doesn't offer anything.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to show Moon Bloodgood's breasts.
Right.
Well, she's an attractive woman, and
Exactly. That would be only like the only
And like,
reason.
the two sides of the argument, neither side even wins out, because the one is, well, it shouldn't matter. Don't sexualize women's breasts. And it's like, well, they are though. Like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe that's a feminist argument for another time. But it doesn't matter. The fact that you're doing it isn't because it's a strong female and she shows her breasts, whatever. The fact that she was hiding them means she didn't want them to be seen, which means the scene itself is pointless.
Yeah.
That you're doing it. It's not a sexual scene. It's not an empowerment scene. It's, ooh, my breasts are out. Better not let the man see them. Like, so yeah, there's no point to it. And like the other side, it being like we said, like, just cut it out. Like, even the feminist argument wouldn't even really be credible here, because they are sexualized.
Right, yeah.
Right, so I'm glad they cut it out. Not that it would have, like, oh, I would have hated the movie if they included that. But, like, I'm glad that they had the foresight enough to say, you know what, we shouldn't do that. Because I feel like that was never said during Terminator 3.
Yeah. In anything, ever.
No, yeah.
Another reason why they did it, though, is because cutting that out meant that they would go from a rated R to a rated PG-13.
Oh.
So,
Weren't
smart
both
move.
the other ones R?
What was that?
What were the ratings of the other two?
They're rated R.
Yeah, the other three, I mean, sorry.
Yeah, they're rated R.
Yeah, all three are R. I would have preferred it to stay R.
Yeah.
We talked about this on the Not Safe for Work group meeting discussion about the idea, does a rated R movie, does it immediately make it better or not?
It's not that it makes it better, it's what kind of movie are you trying to portray? Like, what story are you telling? And the story of the Terminator is a story that is served for an R film.
Exactly. It's violent. It's the idea of a horrible future. It's
You're
kind
seeing
of thing.
death everywhere.
Yeah. You know, but I mean, if it was just like for the boobs, I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Because I think that kind of, though, the rated R thing transfers better with the other films because you're out of your element and it's more frightening. Like, the first film's, practically a horror movie.
Right.
The second one, it's an action one or whatever, but it's still like, this thing's gonna come and kill you. And the third one is like, it should be rated R because that means less people are gonna go see it. And
the third one was just a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, but Salvation is a war film. And if they could get away with doing that in PG-13, I think it makes a lot more sense. It was still like, they still had some good death things happen. And
my argument is this film should have been everything we were promised from what Kyle talked about in the first Terminator.
Yeah.
This should have been the horrible living nightmare. Right. And that's one thing I didn't get from this. It was bleak, sure, but it wasn't just, you want to kill yourself just living here.
So, what we were promised before, the promise that the story essentially would go this way, and I'm so glad that they did it, and that's Kyle Reese is the target. Mm-hmm. Thank God they did that, because not only is Anton Yelchin, or Yelchin, or however you pronounce it, a good actor, but Kyle is my favorite character in this whole thing. He's got a better demeanor about him. He's a soft guy because he takes care of Star, but he's also hardened enough that he can fight.
And he hasn't been completely hardened yet.
Yeah, he hasn't lost all hope.
Because he hasn't met Sarah Connor yet. Then he gets really hard. Got away with it. Boom.
Nice. 10 points. The actors in general are better in this one, though, than Terminator 3. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Sammy. Not you. Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington?
Yes. Yeah. He's fine.
That's a weird character, though.
I agree. No. I just
that's one of my negatives about the movie, is like a human Terminator cyborg thing.
You know, I don't consider it a
got me so
negative.
confused.
Because you know what? Because John's like, and remember that scene where they're standing around and he's in chains and they're like, what do we do with it? Like, John should have been like John's experiences with the Terminators have all been positive. I understand that this is, and he even goes back to the old tapes. And I loved that he went back to, like, consult with his mother through those tapes. And it's like, there's never any mention of this kind of thing. So it's something he has, like, no background with. He had no prep for this. But I feel like he still should have been the kind of guy who should have trusted it.
Well, he does, but he doesn't. Like, he's been fighting them, and he knows that the likelihood that there's a good Terminator out there is so far on the opposite end, but it's still part human, so he doesn't want to do anything. Like,
right.
That's why he's able to turn pretty quickly when Blair's like, no, he's a guy, and he's like, all right. Like, you know.
I also didn't like the whole Batman voice, John Connor. This is John Connor.
And we're Christian Bale.
Christian Bale's a good actor.
I like him, but the problem that I have with him is that I love him so much in American Psycho that I just have a hard time believing him in
doing
other
anything but
roles.
killing Paul Allen.
Oh God, Paul Allen deserved to die. Okay, he didn't even get his name right.
Yeah, that fucker had a good card. He deserved to die.
Oh man, I love that scene so much.
What do you guys think of the cold opening with the jail cell, though? That they established this idea that Marcus Wright is this killer, and that he's going to donate his body to science, and his story of the whole film is just, does somebody deserve to get a second chance? I kind of like it and I kind of don't. Like, to me, this is a big flaw that I have in the movie. I like everything about the story of this movie. I don't like the execution of it.
I agree with you. I think the biggest problem with the movie, and maybe they thought they needed to change it up, which is fair if they thought that, but they should not have done it. The movie should have been about John and Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was about Marcus. And I think that took the focus way off where it should have been.
Yeah, and actually it was supposed to be even worse than that. They originally wanted the Marcus character to be played by Christian Bale, and they had less John Connor in there. But
oh, wow.
He said, I think John Connor's the better character that I want to play. And then they were like, oh, well, we can't have Christian Bale be like a side supporting character. So they wrote more John Connor into the script.
Wow.
And that's the problem.
Here's the big problem, though. The big problem. If I'm going to do one of those T-1000 finger waves, it's at this one. The original ending, John was supposed to die.
That makes no sense.
And Marcus was supposed to be like, they were going to basically take John's skin and put it on top of Marcus.
Oh.
So he's John Connor.
But not really.
And I feel like that's not the direction they're going in, but I feel like they sort of have molded that with this Terminator Genisys movie.
Yep.
Oh.
So like they put it into there where maybe he's not actually John Connor, but maybe he killed John Connor and then took his place or something.
That's what I'm petrified of. Because if they would have taken the route that they wanted to go here, it would have shit all over the series. Because John Connor is supposed to be alive in the future. Not John's skin.
Right. Not
that
somebody...
That makes no sense. Like, does it mean that you are only you because of your skin or what you look like outside?
They tried to argue that the idea was John is such like a spiritual leader that like you can carry on in his name kind of a thing.
Oh, Lord,
but it's like,
mercy.
but no, you can't. Like, if that was the case, then John could die in the past. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. But anybody could have taken up the role.
And it would mean that at this like timeline, the Terminator is the one that sends the Terminators back in time. The Terminator is the one that gets to know Kyle Reese. And when Kyle Reese in the first movie says, I would die for John Connor, no, you would die for a goddamn Terminator. Like,
yeah.
Right, die for a robot.
So I'm so glad that they didn't do that. But you can tell that had that written into the script because of the way that the movie ends, where John gets stabbed in the heart.
Right, and then he gets his heart.
Yeah. Although they do a little foreshadowing where in the tapes that he's listening to, Sarah says, "Just follow your heart." And it's like, oh, okay. It was that kind of thing.
They're trying to be deep now.
Yeah.
But
at least they have T600s in it, you know?
Yeah.
And
Right.
they call them the T600s, and they've got the rubber skin. Like, they put a lot more time and effort into looking at the other movies than Terminator 3 did.
Right.
They got the line, "Come with me if you want to live." They got that correct.
Look at that.
Very cool that they did that. And that it was, you know, Kyle again.
Which one said I'll be back?
That was John.
Alright.
That was a good gag. I remember being in the theater, and when it was like, "Well, what do I tell all the people when you leave?" "I'll be back." And everybody was like, "Ah, I got it."
And that was like, and that's probably one of the only times it wasn't forced.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's believable. Like, tell them I'll be back.
Yeah.
But he does the iconic line. Instead of like, oh my god, the trailer for Genisys, "I'll be back." Wait, what? Jumps out of a plane.
Oh God.
Right after that, though, they do force something. When he takes down the Moto Terminator, that little motorcycle one, he's playing "You Could Be Mine." The same song that, you know, the bow. That was... It's like, all right, the likelihood that he's going to put on that same song that just happened to be the one playing before they got the T-1000 coming after them, like, you know, but the reason they did it was fan service, so, you know.
Yeah.
So we've got the Marcus character, we've got John. Kate does nothing in this movie.
She really doesn't.
Yeah. She was built up in the third one, and I think they realized, wow, we kind of screwed the pooch on that.
She just kind of rubs her pregnant belly.
Right.
You know, looks at the camera with these fake eyes and goes, you know, "Watch out for Jurassic World. I'm in that one."
Yeah. I had completely forgotten that she was in
Even a
this movie,
character?
actually. Yeah, no, I mean, not Jurassic Park, because I just watched it. I'm not that dumb. But I had completely forgotten that she was... For some reason, I thought that Jessica Chastain was in this movie and not her. I don't know.
I get those confused every once in a while. They do look very similar. What do you guys think of the Transformer Terminator looking thing?
That's exactly what made me think of. Like, it took me out of the movie, like, oh my god, that looks like a Transformer. And that's what it did for me. I mean, Transformer is much, like, it's not as old as this Terminator, right? Or is it?
No, I think that, well, if you're talking about the movies, it's not, but...
Okay, no, I mean, I didn't,
The series is from the 80s, so...
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, so maybe if I did not watch Salvation at the theater, I watched it later on cable, whatever. By then, I had seen Transformers because I didn't grow up with Transformers, so I had no idea what they were. So maybe if I was in the theater when it first came out, or maybe if I watched it before I was aware of Transformers, it wouldn't have bothered me. But to me, it reminded me of Transformers, and it kind of, for some reason, reminded me of Wild Wild West.
Oh, yeah.
So bad.
I really hope that they don't fight a giant spider in the Terminator Genisys.
They might as well, I mean...
A positive note I have down here, I always liked the idea that the minefield was a reveal that he was a Terminator. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, just like, well, it only affects the, you know, that's the metal magnetized one. What? My leg? Boom! Fuck you! Like, you know.
Yeah, from the trailers for Genisys, it looks like they did a much better job of what they botched in this one, where, like, that really fake Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, that.
Oh, yeah, when he goes back.
That cringe-worthy, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? They had a backup plan for that if it wasn't going to work out right, and that was that when he shoots at him, that he would have shot out the face before you got to see it.
Oh.
Now, I did like the one thing. I think they tried to retcon everything, because it didn't, in this one, they call it the T-800 Model 101.
Well, that's what it is.
Right, but remember in Terminator 3, I thought they only called it a 101.
Oh yeah, well that was the T101 thing where they were like,
because they were calling it a T101. It's a T800, but it's model 101.
Yeah, they went back to the original one and paid attention.
Right.
Thank God. Even just the movie trailer for Terminator 2 tells you Cyberdyne Systems Model 101 T800. So goddamn Terminator 3 didn't watch the fucking trailer even, you bastards.
They really did it. They didn't give a shit. I'm telling you. Who directed Salvation?
Some guy named Mick G.
Oh, okay.
That's it. All he goes by is MCG, Mick G.
Oh, okay. I was trying to find it, and I just kept going to that name, and I wasn't sure if it was like a mistake.
I don't know
the
what he's
IMDb
done since then, actually. He might not have done anything since this.
Maybe. I mean, Salvation is not a bad. I guess it just like did not get me pumped. Like T2 and T1, it was just like I was glad that it wasn't like the third one, but I was also like not super excited about.
That's why
to me, it felt a lot like a very, 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 very modern take of what it should have been. Mainly, it's because of like the extreme use of visual effects and things like that. I don't know if it's because I'm kind of biased towards them in general. I just feel like practical effects just like are always better. But it was alright.
Well, that's why I would give this movie like a 4, because I don't like it, but there's a lot of things about it that I really like. And it's also the problem of Terminator 3. There are things about this movie that if you had put those ideas in the hands of better writers and better directors, you would have gotten a much better result.
Yeah.
So it's like, I almost can't hate them, because there is something there, but they didn't execute it, and it upsets me.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a good way to kind of overall explain it. Like, Salvation is much better than Terminator 3, but it still just doesn't have that James Cameron effect.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't.
Terminator Genisys probably isn't going to either. And that's why I'm going into this movie assuming that I'm wasting $15 and I'm going to be angry. So I'm telling you ahead of time, anybody who's listening to this and then going to the review point, unless that movie proves me wrong, that review point is going to be me going, and then this part, what the fuck, and then this part.
Yeah. And I mean, it's the same director for that one who did Thor the Dark World, which had its problems too. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
well, I mean, we don't know, guys. We might be like pleasantly surprised. Like, you never know. It might be good, you know?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, I really was wondering about Jurassic World. And then I was like, pleasantly, not that I thought it was going to be bad, but I thought this could be bad. And it wasn't.
mm-hmm.
So this could be another case of, I think this is going to be bad, and then it turns out it's not. But, I mean, I thought the same thing about Terminator 3 when I saw the trailers, like, this does... And then when I saw the movie, it was like, no, this was a letdown. Then Terminator Salvation, it's like, maybe this one, and then no. So now it's the third time of maybe this one.
You're jaded, yeah.
Yes, I am.
They've got an uphill battle.
They do. I think they just have to, hopefully, and they did that, just went back to the basics, because 3 did not respect any of the rules. Well, I guess some they did, but like having the female Terminator appear naked, because, you know, that's the important rule. That's the rule that they couldn't forget. And then you have Salvation, which is just like Tony said, it's a war movie. Which I guess, like, it fits the story for that one, but it's not what Terminator it's about. I think there are still ways of you showing this chaotic future and these characters and focusing on important things without just being a war movie.
Terminator is the story of John Connor, so make it the story of John Connor.
Yeah, exactly.
If anything, it's the story of hope for humankind.
That too.
Instead of being like, wouldn't it be cool if this thing happened and, whatever. And little side note, I'm surprised that they've still not done anything in any of these movies where the way that they destroy a Terminator is through electricity. Because Terminator 1, it gets smashed. Terminator 2, they've got a reference to it where the T-1000 is smashing the Terminator and then impales it. But the way that they get around it is, how does the T-1000 and the T-800 go down? Through the molten steel. Terminator 3, they just went, yeah, fuck whatever. But Terminator 3 could have had a really cool thing with that magnetic part, how it was kind of like sucking the skin away. They went with exploding the power cell. And in Terminator Salvation, the T-800 is back to being a badass. It takes forever to kill this fucking thing. But then also, of course, they reference the idea like, it gets the whole, we're going to smash it like in Terminator 1, we're going to do the molten steel like in Terminator 2, and then, they just rip the head off. But
what I think is really cool, though, in that last little bit of the scene, is when they go to fight it, but then they look and they realize, like, one of these things has been hard to kill. There is literally a factory, like, airline hangar-sized troop of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're boned. They're totally screwed.
I think that was a good way to turn things around, and then it didn't fully do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that your dog snoring?
I think it is.
I think that's Carolyn's dog. I think that's Bonnie's.
Yeah, it's her.
So, any favorite or least favorite parts we haven't mentioned yet from any of you? Toss any ideas out.
I think my favorite part would probably just be like the beginning, kind of, like, not the very beginning, but like when you see Kyle and Star and Marcus. Like, I generally enjoyed that, where they're explaining to Marcus like what happened, and they're like fighting that T-600. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But my least favorite part, probably the same thing they did to Patrick Stewart in X-Men Origins Wolverine. That they do it to Arnold, like that really just
look.
It pulls you out of the movie with how fake it is.
Actually, I say that's one of my favorite parts, even though it does look fake.
Yeah. Well, the fight's good.
Yeah.
But I hate like, for as much as these movies make, like, to the production budget, I mean, like, you couldn't have put a little bit more time and effort into that.
Yeah, that's true. I like that they tried, though,
Yeah.
What about you, Caroline? Anything stand out?
Was this the movie that had the deleted scene of Schwarzenegger and that really weird voice?
No, that was T3.
That was that.
Where they did the whole Sergeant Candy.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Candy, whatever. Like, well, that voice is terrible. We can fix it. Like,
right.
Well, I think my favorite part was the relationship between Star and Kyle. Slightly reminiscent the relationship that the Terminator and John had on T2. And I kind of like these moments whenever we're seeing a movie about, there might not be any hope. We live in this chaotic environment and we might just die at any moment. It's kind of nice to have characters that remind you of what it is to be human. And I don't know, I just kind of start thinking about the whole situation where, John Connor did not have a father figure, and maybe Kyle even really missed being part of his life. So it was kind of cute to see him with Star, and that was my favorite bit.
What if he would have, when he first saw Kyle, if he would have been like, Dad? And he'd been like, what the fuck? No?
Papa?
Yeah, but it was an interesting dynamic, finally getting to see John meet Kyle.
Yeah.
I was worried that Star would get killed. I thought she was going to be a sacrificial lamb.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, I thought so too. Kind of glad that they didn't go that way.
I kind of wanted her to. Not that I want a little girl to die, but I would have been okay if they would have killed her off in the final battle.
I'll be sad.
I was hoping that they were going to see. I think wasn't there a plan for that they were going to find the time machine in Salvation?
That would have been too early. I think I would have been annoyed about that.
Oh yeah.
I like the idea that he's not the full leader yet. That he has to earn his way, and a lot of people are calling him a false prophet and stuff.
Yeah.
You've got the General Ashdown, who's the hard. If you're gonna cast anybody who's a hardened military guy, Michael Ironside is just go with it. I like that kind of there's still a story for John other than survival.
Right.
And if he's going to fight anything, apparently he was going to fight the lighting guys. Because this is that movie where Christian Bale flipped the fuck out.
What don't you fucking understand?
Oh my god.
I don't walk on your side. Go, da, 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 da.
He's such a douchebag.
We're done professionally.
One of my least favorite parts about this movie, though, is it's completely Bale. And the acting and the writing or whatever. It's the Hydrobot scene where he's, they're going back and forth about he kind of wants to kill him. He's got the gun pointed at him, and he's like, I can get you into Skynet and whatever. But then when he starts to leave, then the scene's done, and he just goes, "What are you?" And he's like, "I don't know." And it's so you couldn't have done another take of this. It's
right.
So very awkward. I don't know.
Very
What are you should have come way before that. Not just all right, see you later, buddy. What?
That's just a Christian Bale moment too. It's he's always building up to something, and then he just erupts into mad anger.
Where are the drugs going? That's the wrong movie, Christian. What is this? Where are the fucking lights?
Where's the Joker?
It's what's up with you, Marcus? I was in jail and whatever. You were in a padded cell.
Rachel.
Here's my card.
Rachel, Kyle. 0 to 10, what would you give it? Caroline?
4. A 5. A 5. I didn't hate it. It's kind of meh. I don't care. Kind of a movie. So a 5. Right in the middle.
Sam?
I'll give it a 4.5. I'd just nudge it to the scale of I don't like it, but I'd still recommend it to people if they like just a standard action movie. Not a Terminator movie, but if they just want to see guns blazing and some storyline. Yeah, Terminator Salvation. Alright.
I'll give it a 6. I'm a little bit more optimistic about it. It's, it doesn't compare to T1 and T2, but after the travesty of T3, I got at least double the score.
Yeah.
But in my mind, if you are a Terminator fan and you watch Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, watch the extended special edition of T2, end it there, and then you're done. But if you don't, and you really want to continue it, I say do the alternative branch. Go off to Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, instead of Terminator 3. That follows a different continuity. It keeps T1 and T2, but gets rid of T3 and Salvation. And that was a much better TV show.
Didn't it get canceled, though?
Yeah, well, it got unfortunately canceled after the second season, where they set up a big twist, and they never got to pay it off.
Oh.
What was the twist? Ruin it.
Yeah, spoiler alert for the people that will maybe watch it. Fast forward about a minute or two here. But the series is based on the idea that a female Terminator who's a teenager gets sent back to protect John, and she's so much better than the TX.
Good.
Her name's Cameron, based off of Jim Cameron. So, that's kind of cute. Yeah. But they set up a thing where they've got Kyle Reese's brother gets sent back too. And he's one of the best characters in the whole thing. He gets killed at one point, in the most shocking thing I've ever seen in a TV show ever, where he just literally gets killed out of nowhere in one scene, and you're like, what the fuck? What the hell just happened? Like, but they built up this whole thing with a T-1000 who is working with a computer system that plays chess. Like, you know how they have the computers that play chess?
Mm-hmm.
That's where Skynet learns how to think through one of those computers. And she's kind of involved in it, and something, I can't remember exactly what it is, but something happens where they go to the future. It's the T-1000's actually good, and she and John go to an alternate future where when they go there, they see that Kyle's brother's not dead because he hasn't been sent back through time yet. But he goes, "Who the hell are you?" He has no idea who the hell John is.
Oh.
And it ends with them going, like, them pointing guns at them and them being like, the next season would have been John's in the future, but there's no, like, this is a future if John wouldn't have grown up to lead the resistance, kind of.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And it was like, and then they cancel it, and then they're like, oh, fuck you. But
oh man, maybe Netflix will eventually salvage it or something.
That'll be the salvation.
Yeah, there you go.
So spoilers done.
Need.
So I recommend that for those people that are interested. The woman who plays Sarah Connor is Lena Headey, or I don't know how to pronounce her name, from Game of Thrones. She's a good Sarah Connor. And the one who plays John he was in Heroes Season 1, Thomas Dekker. He's even better than Edward Furlong. I think he was great. Very cool, though. Very cool series. So that's it for Terminators 1 through 4. Long edition of the 4 Real Movie Club, but it's Terminator. I had to do that. What the hell? So last thing we need to do here, just plug some stuff that's going on and promote some things that we've got in our background that we're working on and whatever like that. Sam, what do you want to throw out there for people?
You can just check me out writing articles for fanboysanonymous.com. I'm going to be watching a lot of movies this summer, so you can catch me doing a review point podcast for Ant-Man.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to drag you to the Fantastic Four, am I?
Maybe we could, maybe.
Caroline?
Everybody can check out my website, czofx.com. You can also check me out on Instagram. I post a lot of pictures of my dog and of the stuff that I've been working on.
Yes, she does.
I do! It's like the best part of the day. It's, creepy_Caroline, like fairly easy. Yeah, and check out Fanboys Anonymous, and hopefully my article is gonna come out soon. It's like
the struggle.
It's a struggle. Yeah. It's like laborious. Like I've been in labor for a week, and it's like painful, and it's ruining my insides, but it's gonna get there.
And you were hot before the baby came. And...
Oh man, it's I'm never gonna be the same. You know, my mind and my body are completely ruined.
Oh, you know, you gotta suffer through that, because who knows? What if the labor results in the savior of humankind?
That's true. That even though I do believe my dog is already the savior, so yeah.
Well, if for some reason, you know, the nuclear holocaust happens and a Boston Terrier saves us.
Oh my god! Oh, I just woke her up again. I'm such a horrible mom.
She's like, I need my rest. I need to start saving
like, this bitch. She actually hates me. Like, if I start making a lot of noise, she just leaves my room and she goes to sleep in the living room. Like, she really hates me.
Actually, that sounds like a sensible dog.
She's a pacifist. She doesn't want to shut you up, so she'll go in the other room.
Savior of humanity.
Alrighty, guys, that'll do us in for episode 15 of the For Real Movie Club. Keep checking out fanboysanonymous.com, all the different podcasts we've got coming your way. Check out everything else under A Mango Tree as well if you're interested in the different things like the All Talk Show and Smark Out Moment. Next month, we haven't quite decided what we're going to do. We can possibly do the 4 Mission Impossible movies, because Mission Impossible is coming out. We might do 4 of the video game movies that have come out, something like Super Mario Brothers, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, or whatever, to kind of set up for Pixels. We could do a wide variety of things that we could just do something off the wall. It doesn't have to be something tied to what's going on right now. So if you guys have any suggestions of what you would prefer, leave your comments below. Do that for all the different parts here as well. Tell us your thoughts on these movies. Give us some kind of a reason to like Terminator 3 if you have any
if you do like it, let us know.
Yeah,
and tell us why
against
you
us.
like it.
And tell us what you think is going to happen with Terminator Genisys. Stay tuned for our review about that as well. And I think that's it for the For Real Movie Club. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you to Caroline and Sam for joining me on the podcast and listening to all my rambling nonsense about Terminator. We will see you next time, everybody. Keep on watching movies.
Hasta la vista.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
I'm too old for this.
Good day, sir!
You stay classy, San Diego.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
I'm finished.
That'll do, people. That'll go. Hasta la vista, baby.
Hey, everybody! We're all gonna get laid!
You're still here? It's over. Go home.